Dark times call for dark backgrounds. We've got a new Switch game that has some concerning reviews and a new Switch game that has a concerning developer, and that one was supposed to be one of the most exciting games in the Direct. So a lot to talk about as we return to the week. Good morning, Mario, and good morning, Switch fans. I think I was going cross instead of at you this time. We need to go towards you. How else are you supposed to high five my mug? But what's going on, everybody? It's Zach from SwitchForce. Hope you all had a great weekend. We're back in the Good Morning Mario saddle as we work our way towards 800 episodes. Anyhow, let's kick things off with a little bit of Monkey Ball Mania. Except this one is Rumble. Except the Rumble ain't rumbling. All right, I'm very excited for the new Monkey Ball because I do think Monkey Ball is a great title, and despite what Love Island tries to tell you, it's not something that's super hidden, super niche, super cult. It's just like a long-lasting franchise that Sega has continuously tried to put out on Nintendo Switch. Now, none of these Switch titles have been all that excellent, but Banana Rumble had my hopes primarily because of the epic multiplayer. Turns out that the single player is good and solid and worth playing, but the multiplayer is not all that it's cracked up to be. Monkey Ball Banana Rumble reviews came out, and most people say that the single player stages are great. The game is fun when you're playing by yourself. It's got a nice 60 FPS, but once you go to multiplayer, everything is bad. Not only are the game modes not that fun, super chaotic, super like, oh gosh, a million people are crashing into me, because they try to do the Fall Guys thing, which I thought was a great idea for Monkey Ball, but it sounds like it's just a mess, at least based on the reviewers. Now, we will have to try it out for ourselves, I think, but they're saying that not only are the modes kind of boring, but that the frame rate gets chopped in half as soon as you add even one other player to your ball action. Throw one more monkey into the fray, whether it's in co-op or competitive, and you've got bad news. Half the frame rate is pretty sucky. 60 frames per second for single player is really great, honestly. I think that's a nice checkbox for the game to hit on Switch. But losing half of it to multiplayer or to co-op just kind of makes it bleh. And it seems like that half of the game is not going to be where you want to spend your time, and instead you're going to spend your time in the single player. But the funny thing here is so much of this game's marketing and so much of this game's advertising and hype has been centralized around the multiplayer. So to find out that the multiplayer is not that great and the single player is what's keeping the game afloat, that's where it gets its score in the 70s range. Now, that doesn't deter me all too much because, as you know, I'm not big on a huge friend group. So I was planning on playing most of this myself anyways, and I definitely was going to play single player. I wasn't going to play co-op for the campaign. But the multiplayer stuff, I still kind of want to try. I hope that it's decent. I don't know. It seems weird that ever since Monkey Target, they pretty much have not been able to get a Monkey Ball multiplayer right, or at least not hit a home run. Even though Monkey Target was the home run, maybe that doesn't play as well in 2024. I remember playing it back at the Cube Club before the GameCube came out and thinking, dude, Monkey Target is where it's at. But maybe Monkey Target's not where it's at anymore. Clearly Multiplayer and Monkey Ball, they're not going together like peanut butter and jelly these days. And the same can be said about Mario and Luigi Brothership and its potential developer. Now this brings me to a bit of confusion. All right, Mario & Luigi Brothership is one of the best announcements Nintendo has made in recent memory, revitalizing a franchise that we thought was surely dead. Yes, there had been the ports on 3DS with the additional content, but Nintendo said, Shazam to Alpha Dream, and they were gone. Now, though, the franchise is back, and it's back in a big way with the huge November game, returning an RPG title featuring the Mushroom Kingdom to the Switch in the holiday season for the second year in a row, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. Now, the game file size is 10 gigs, which is pretty big for a Switch game, and that has me quite excited. But what has people not quite excited is the potential developer. It seems like many have sussed out that Nintendo has tapped ILCA to work on this game. Now, let it be known that Nintendo themselves have not clarified who is developing the game, and what has now become their PR line of check the credits to find out who developed this game, they said that again. They do note that some people that worked on past Mario and Luigi games are working on this game, that there are series veterans aboard, which is good news, but people don't like ILCA. ILCA is responsible for Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, They're responsible for working on a number of other games, including Code Vein. They did like a Pokemon, a short, a cartoon, something of that sort. Basically, they're not like Nintendo's best and brightest. That's not to say that they can't do a good job or that they won't do a good job, but it is to say, like, this is not Nintendo's A squad. Nintendo's A squads are probably all very much working on Nintendo Switch 2. And that's totally fine. I mean, I think the fact that we're getting such an amazing assortment of Switch 1 games this holiday season is very great, but it's inevitable that some of them will be, made by what you might consider lesser developers. Now, ILCA doesn't necessarily have to be terrible, and they could have improved since their Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl days. I think people just think, you know what, they didn't do the greatest of jobs on that game. Can they do a great job here? And why did Nintendo pick a studio that started off with CG animation? That is where they began. It was actually a Mario Kart 8 ad. It wasn't a Pokemon ad. It was a Mario Kart 8 ad. They helped on Pokemon Home. They helped on Code Vein. They helped on a game called Voice of Cards. They helped a little bit on Dragon Quest XI for Switch. They worked on the trailer for Nier Automata, and they did Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. So if they are the main developers by this game, this would be a big step up and a big chance for them to rise to the occasion. Now, Nintendo must have faith in them, and I'll tell you this. Nintendo doesn't just give Mario to anybody. They were very, very careful in making sure Yves Guillemot was like, "Je suis Mario," to the people named Miyamoto and other executives at Nintendo. He made sure that he tapped Davide, someone that loves Mario, someone that could do him right with the Mario plus Rabbids games on Ubisoft's side of things. Other than that, though, Mario doesn't just go to anyone. Mario is a coveted property that Nintendo knows they need to maintain at a very high level. And so if they feel that ILCA can do it, I gotta trust Nintendo. I don't think the powers that be at the big end would let Mario and Luigi fall off the wayside, especially in the November slot. If this game was releasing in February, maybe I'd be more concerned, because it's like, you know what, this is coming out in February. A lot of us expect 3D Mario to drop in like March, April, May. Maybe Nintendo is just scooting this out the door and letting it slide. But having Mario and Luigi Brothership house the November slot for the Switch, that tells me they're very confident in this game. That tells me that it's coming together quite well. I think the art style looks really good. I don't think it's suspect at all, in my opinion. It looks like a bold take on the Mario RPG franchise, and I'm excited to see what they can do. At first blush, yes, ILCA don't seem that great, but maybe they've really built up steam. Maybe they have added members of the Mario and Luigi Alpha Dream squad, and they're helping coach and teach those new at ILCA how to make it. And maybe Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was a great training grounds to learn the Switch and to make something better. In many ways, Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl was already there, and they just had to port it over. And I think a lot of the negativity surrounds on the graphical style chosen for that game. But we know the graphical style chosen for Mario and Luigi is, in my opinion, far superior to that of the chibi Pokemon style, so I don't really think you have much to worry about. I think this game is actually going to deliver and be quite good. 10 gigabytes of deliciousness and a November slot, to me, feels like a huge return to form, as Nintendo has dumped tons of resources, tons of time, and a whole lot of faith into the Mario RPG genre, and I'm here for it. So let me know what you think about Mario and Luigi Brothership being developed most likely by ILCA. Do you feel nervous, or do you think it's going to be okay? Because I really think it's going to be just fine. Numbers. Nintendo, they're good at numbers. And according to Matt Piscatella and Circana's retail tracking service, as of May the 4th, Switch is only trailing PS2 by 1.41 million units. That is crazy town, because PS2 is freaking incredible. The Switch is the third all-time in the US, by DS and PS2 right above them. So this means that Nintendo Switch is very close, right on the doorstep, cracking the door open, peeking inside, and probably stealing some mail off the front porch of the PS2, because it's 1.41 million units away. And with games like Zelda and Mario Party in the future, as well as a golden Switch Lite, I think they can do it. I think they can do it. And this was already a month and a half ago. This was May 4th, so maybe they're already there. Maybe the Switch is the number one of all time. It really does seem like it's going to be the king of the United States sales charts, which is remarkable and amazing. And the Switch, again, continues to dominate well into its final swan song year. Everybody thought, oh, they're going to slow down. They're bringing out special edition consoles. They're bringing out special new games, and they're crushing everybody in their footsteps. So it's a great time to be a fan of the Switch. ILCA, I think they've got it. Monkey Ball, I hope at least the single players got it. And the Switch is a system seller. My goodness gracious. They've always had it. So thank you so much for having some time with me. I appreciate all you being here. Hit that like button if you enjoyed today's video. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, stay positive out there. And until next time, SwitchForce out.